How's it going, everyone? I hope you're all doing well. So on the internet, there has been a lot of talk about digital minimalism recently, including on my own channel. But I've realized I've never really explained what digital minimalism is. So in today's video, I intend to do just that with some real-world examples, along with a couple of easy ways that you can try it out for yourself. First of all, let's go over the meaning. First of all, let's take a quick look at the definition of digital minimalism. Cal Newport, who is widely credited for the popularity of digital minimalism, defines it as a philosophy of technology usage in which you focus your online time on a small number of selected and optimized activities that strongly support the things that you value and then happily miss out on everything else. And while I certainly do think this is a very good starting point, to me, digital minimalism means a little bit more than that. It's not only about optimizing your digital life, but then using that optimized digital life to better your physical life. Before we go any further though, I want to say a big thank you to today's sponsor, Ridge Wallet. So the Ridge Wallet are a company I've wanted to work with for a pretty long time now, simply put, because I genuinely like their products. The first thing I love about these wallets is the design. There's over 30 styles, including carbon fiber and burnt titanium, which just so happens to be the one I have. This thing, just look at that. I mean, how could you not think that looks awesome? The second thing I love about it is the uncompromising size. So two things. Jean pockets have been getting smaller. I've noticed this phenomenon for a while. This thing, easy as that. And despite the small size, it can still hold up to 12 cards plus room for cash, which is always nice to see. And because these wallets are made out of such durable materials, each wallet comes with a lifetime warranty. If you are interested in picking up one of these wallets for yourself, you can use the link in the description to get 10% off your order. And the Ridge team are so confident that you'll like it, you can get a 45-day test drive to make sure. Big thanks to the Ridge again for sponsoring this video and helping to support this channel. Anyway, back to the video. First of all, let's take a quick look at some real-world areas where digital minimalism can be applied. Starting out, let's talk about the thing that you carry in your pocket every day. Your phone is one of the easiest things that you can practice digital minimalism with. It's the thing that I first got started with because realistically, if you accidentally delete the wrong app, it's not the end of the world. You can just quickly reinstall it. And chances are, if you don't like digital minimalism, you can quite quickly go back. A good place to start is reviewing all your apps, photos, and files, deciding what you want to keep and deciding what you want to get rid of. A good example of this would be old crappy apps that you've just completely forgotten to get rid of, accidental screenshots, invoices for things that have arrived like 8 months ago, and uninstall all of it. After this, I would recommend reviewing those too. What I mean by this is essentially you might have like 2 apps that basically do the same thing. For example, you might have separate news apps or separate weather apps. And for this, I would recommend trying to group them together. For example, instead of keeping multiple news apps on your phone, you could try using Apple News. That's what I currently use. It delivers all my news to me in a nice, clean way, keeping my phone clutter-free. I also have a combined planner, calendar, and weather app that, again, allows me to free up my phone even further. This may involve looking for new apps to replace multiple old ones, and trust me, if you have the time to do this, it is totally worth it. Next up, you're going to need to sort the ones that you decided to keep. Now, the main sorting method that I recommend for beginners is to either sort by app genre or have a separate page for the most used to least used apps. This could be a page of the apps you use every day, followed by a page of the apps that you use every few days or so, and finally, a page of apps that you use less than once a week. I actually used to do genre sorting myself. However, recently I've moved towards just keeping the apps that I know I'm going to use every day on my home screen, apart from the super distracting ones like Twitter, and then just keeping the rest in my app library. I found that this system works really nicely for me, but it's a little bit harder to get started using a system like that, so I would recommend one of the first 2 to get started. After this, I'd recommend trying it out for a week, seeing if you like it, maybe refining it to work better for you. If you don't, you can always go back to what you were using before, but if you do like it, let's move on to the next step. All right, so we've covered the easy way in, but now we're going to cover stuff with more files. I'm going to be using the computer as an example, but if you're an illustrator, this could apply to your iPad, anything really with a lot of programs and files on. So once again, I would very much recommend trying out the phone model first, but if you're ready to get to the next step, let's talk about organizing lots of stuff. First of all, files. Everybody has a lot of them, so I don't expect you to go through all of them, but what I will recommend is you make a folder with your most important files in, and another folder with files that you think you probably need. Back these up to a cloud-based storage selection like Google Drive or Dropbox. Make sure that you keep these files safe. I would also recommend moving as many files as you possibly can onto the cloud where possible. And again, if possible, try to start from scratch and then build up a really good system that works for you. Try to keep everything organized, labeled, grouped, whatever works for you, and then maintain that as you add more files. I'd also recommend going through your programs and following a similar method that we did with the phone. And for me, I found out I hardly used most of my Creative Cloud suite, so I uninstalled most of it. Another thing I'd recommend is getting comfortable with external drives. I personally do all my editing on an external drive, as well as keep a backup of all my important files on another drive. And the only thing I really keep on my computer is files I know I'm going to need quickly, or programs. And this way you can actually take your drives with you and transfer them to different computers if and when you need to. Another thing that I really like to do is use cloud-based apps. Now, an example for me would be the Apple Notes app, because this allows me to take notes on not only my computer, but also my phone and my iPad too. Another good example of this is either Microsoft Office 365 Online or Google Docs. Find out what works for you and then build your system around that. Please don't be restricted by only using local apps. That said, I do think computers are going to be a little bit harder to maintain thanks to the nature in which we use them. So I'd recommend every month or so just going through your files, backing up the important ones that you've made, reviewing the programs that you've used, and then hopefully going through and deleting the ones that you've found out you don't need anymore. Sticking to a certain day, like the first of the month, really helps you stay on top of things better and actually makes your system more maintainable. So yeah, overall, I think digital minimalism is pretty awesome. Obviously, if you ask different people, you are going to get different answers as to what it really is. And while I've only really been doing it for just slightly over 2 years now, it has vastly improved my life. As someone who works in video, there is a lot of programs that you need to deal with. There's tons of files. And so having a good systematic way of keeping things clean is a massive way to make your digital life easier. Not only just online, but also, as we demonstrated before, offline too. In my opinion, digital minimalism is much less about restricting yourself, but more about centralizing things. And while often this does involve cutting the fat with lots of different apps, it's more about building a simple system that works well for you and is gonna let you enjoy your technology that much more. Alright guys, so that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Let me know, by the way, are you a digital minimalist? Do you plan to become one? Feel free to let me know in the comments. I always enjoy reading those. As for now though, as always, thank you for watching. Remember to like the video. If you want to see more content like this, then smash that subscribe button. I'm done for now, and I will see you guys in the next one.